Stay tuned for this edition of Common Sense. We're going to talk about common scams and identity theft and how it can affect your financial standing. Welcome back to Common Sense, the monthly TV show here on Cable Channel 17 at the University of Rio Grande, sponsored by Ohio Valley Bank. On this show, we talk about current issues as they relate to the business world and the banking industry. Ryan, it's a beautiful snowy day outside today.
It is a wintry day.
Winter's still here again.
Yep.
Kind of nice and cold and wet. And
I think we were commenting at lunch, I think this is the 6th day straight that it's rained or precipitated of some kind. So
it's been kind of a miserable stretch of weather here for being outside
and more to come.
Getting some things accomplished, but
yep.
But we'll survive. We'll pass.
And it's winter.
There are sunny days ahead.
That's right. We hope.
And there always are. That's right. Well, anyway, our next guest, this on the show here on Common Sense, was going to be a new first timer that we've not had on the show today. He's going to share his experiences as an insider working in with common scams and identity theft at the bank. And let's welcome to the show Ohio Valley Bank Senior Vice President and Chief Risk Officer, Ryan Jones. Ryan, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
We're glad to have you on here and interested in learning a little bit more about what you've got to share about some of your experiences working with customers at the bank and some of the real life experiences you've seen people go through.
Right.
We can always talk about different potential things that are out there and different examples of don't get caught in this scam or don't get caught in that scam, but you're here to tell us probably a little bit about some of those are true. Those things do happen to people.
Yep.
And
yeah, they definitely do, and we'll do our best to go through some examples and the do's and don'ts.
All right. So why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do at the bank?
Sure. As Brad mentioned, my name is Ryan Jones. I'm from Jackson, Ohio. Born and raised in Jackson, lived there for 41 years, and I graduated here from University of Rio Grande. Married my wife Amy, who is also a Rio Grande graduate. We have 2 boys, Ty and Gavin. We are all very actively in sports. That keeps us busy when we're not working. Mm-hmm. And as far as hobbies goes, we like to golf, hunt, fish, and just spend time on the football field, wrestling mats, and the basketball court. So,
yep. Yeah, we do see each other. It seems like year-round almost. On kids are the same age and playing the same sports, and so it's a good time. It is busy, but
yeah, they definitely keep us busy. We have a lot of travel games with football and baseball. We travel all around Ohio and even Myrtle Beach. We've gone to Myrtle Beach to play baseball as well. So it's been a fun experience.
Yep, it's good for the kids too. So, and speaking of that time of year, and we're getting into wrestling and basketball, and that also brings up the fall and the holidays, and Christmas is just right around the corner, and it just seems like it's a time of year where a lot of people like to donate money, maybe do a lot of online shopping, and we all know it, and we hate to say it, but it opens up the doors for folks with harmful intentions.
Yes, it definitely does. Anybody can fall victim to scams, regardless of your age. And with that being said, there are lots of opportunities that the fraudsters out there are trying to take advantage of, whether it's secret shoppers or free online gift cards or just those types of things that people are very vulnerable to, and whenever they get your information, they can use it in ways that can damage you for the rest of your life, as far as your credit, and actually tapping into your account and getting some real money as well.
Sure.
So,
Yep.
so we all have to be aware of the potential scams and frauds that are occurring on a regular basis.
Yeah. Yeah, I commented at lunch, I got one myself, even just as recently as this morning. It seems like I get them about 3 or 4 times a week that say, all we need, I'm the so-and-so from this financial institution overseas or what, and we just need your bank account and maybe a routing number or whatever, and then we'll deposit some money in your account for for replying to this email or whatever it is. But they're out there in all shapes and forms is what I'm...
They definitely are. And, one thing that Ryan mentioned is it's kind of like playing the lottery. You have to play to win. If you don't play and you get notification that you have won some money, the traditional lottery does not require you to make a payment before they will pay you. And that's a big red flag and a very quick indicator that, hey, something might not be correct. Somebody might be trying to scam me because of they think that I have a large account or have something else, and maybe people do and they don't. But the name of the show is Common Sense, and pretty much as long as you retain your personal information, don't give out your checking account number, don't give out any other personal information about yourself. That definitely is one way to prevent fraud and scams and losses from your account. There are other ways that people attempt to get access, whether it's wire transfers, or again, the lottery is very common.
Right.
And I'd actually just written down wire. I was going to ask you about the wire transfers because we talked about that. Maybe start by explaining to folks what a wire transfer is, and then maybe go in and tell a little bit about the dangers or risks associated with that.
Yeah, basically a wire transfer is it takes at least 2 people from money to go from one account to another account, and it requires checking accounts, the bank's routing number, and other pertinent information about those individuals. But those are the 2 main keys that you need, is the account number and the routing number. And the way that scams can work, one common theme that we see often would be online dating. We have seen examples where somebody, regardless of their age, would sign up for this online dating system, and they think they are learning about one another and becoming friends and that type of thing. And sooner or later, after a few months, there's a request come through, oops, my car broke down, I need some money, can you wire transfer me some money? Or some other examples might be that somebody wants to start up a business, and since we're dating and starting this relationship, I'd like for you to invest in my business, and so please wire money to me, and we'll get we'll start the business. These types of things happen every day, and it's our job and opportunity to talk with our customers and to try to educate them that these things occur, and we try to put up whatever safeguards we can to protect our customers and their money.
Right.
Yeah, those thieves kind of build a connection with the person who's being scammed.
They do.
Yes. And it really makes it a personal, legitimate feeling to the person who's being taken advantage of, because they feel they have a relationship with that thief.
Right.
Just somebody behind a computer screen.
Yes.
And they're probably not only doing that to that person, but multiple people.
Yes.
They probably have a whole list of people that they're professionals at it.
Yes, yeah, they definitely are professionals, and there's lots of different ways that they target people. And again, you can be 18 years old or you can be 80 years old. It really doesn't matter. Actually, we had talked about our children playing online games.
Yep. And
there are times where you may subscribe to a certain game, and the child may ask for the parent's credit card or debit card information. Hey, mom and dad, can I buy this new release to the game? Or sometimes they can buy certain features for the game that makes their character a little more special than others. And
right.
So what happens is, mom and dad hands over the credit card, and they upload it through the system, and I'm sure the first transaction goes where it's supposed to, but that is another potential vulnerability for account information, because debit cards and credit cards, they are being compromised on a regular basis all the time.
Right.
And so, even the minors who they think that, I'm just buying this for my game,
Right.
Yep.
or who they're connecting with through the online games, they think that they're talking to a buddy of theirs, who they think that they could be 15 or 16-year-olds, but really they might be a professional
Right.
scammer.
Professional scammer.
So a good solution for parents with children in those kinds of situations would be to maybe pre-purchase them a gift card, like an iTunes gift card.
Correct.
And use that because it's limited.
It is
in
limited.
the amount.
Yes.
And then it's not really putting your personal information at risk.
Exactly.
You're just limited to that specialized card.
Yes.
So,
And two, with that, a lot of times it's not a large sum of money that disappears. Lots of times you'll see, or if you check, you could see $10 disappear here or 25 here. So over time, if you don't check that, which most people should and could look at their statements on a daily basis, but
Yes.
it's not.
the big one could be coming in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. It could come at any time.
And that's a typical pattern. Typically it may start out small dollar amounts, small increments, and then as the fraudster becomes more familiar with the individual that they're preying on, they know when they're going to try to hit the jackpot per se.
Right.
Or they may not go for the jackpot, and they'll just continue to get those small increments because, as Ryan indicated, not everybody reconciles their statements. Not everybody looks at their statement every month and sees what charges come through, and that's definitely important today with mobile apps, mobile banking, online banking. We do have that information at our fingertips. With real-time processing,
Right.
We can go to the grocery store, swipe our card, and see that transaction almost instantaneously on our mobile app. And so, those are things to pay attention to as well. Keep track of your transactions. Know when they come out of your account, and definitely if something hasn't cleared and you think it should have already, contact your bank and they should be able to help you with that.
Sure. Speaking of the holidays, do you see an uptick in fraud cases at the bank this time of year?
Yeah, there definitely is a spike in that type of transactions. A lot of common themes as well is with any store that you go into, they want to have you open up a new credit card.
Right.
If you open up a new credit card, you get 10% discount, and which is a good deal at the time, but eventually you end up with 10 different credit cards, and all of those cards have been processed against your credit report, and it's not a good thing to open up credit that rapidly and that fast. And then also, those are just more cards and more data and pieces of information that could be compromised.
Right.
And so, me personally, we have a couple credit cards, here and there, but we really don't buy into those types of deals. And also, a common thing that we see at the bank as well is, somebody will call into the bank and say, "Hey, my purse was stolen," or "I lost my purse," and inside of the purse they had 10 different credit cards. So now they have to go and try to contact all of those card holders and try to put alerts on the accounts and those types of things, and it can just go into a tailspin very quickly.
Sure.
Even the cards that they got at a retailer 5 years ago that they've never used,
Sure.
that are still open accounts that they don't even know that they have open accounts.
Yep.
Right.
Because they don't get a monthly statement.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And that's a whole other subject that I think we've talked about
Right.
that before, about managing credit and
Keeping an eye
keeping
on
track of it. So,
Yes.
you know, many of us do travel for the holidays. You know, whether it's driving, flying, shopping, you know, just spending time with the family. So, are there any special precautions we should take while we're traveling?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, don't hesitate to contact your bank to notify them that you will be traveling. There are, depending on your bank's policies, you know, they may already have some states within the U.S. Blocked, or they may already have everything open and accessible, and which means that, you know, today, say that I hop on a plane, I want to go to California. Well, maybe that state is already open for me to, you know, conduct business and, you know, use my card. But you know, I would prefer to contact my bank and let them know I am going to travel. Here's the dates that I'm going to travel, and that way, if there is anything that happens, you know, there should be notifications set up that you can receive via text on your mobile phone, or you know, through your computer, or you know, some type of a notification
Yep.
that you know, so if something does happen, they can get a hold of you and you know what's going on. But there are travel alerts that we can put on the accounts to, you know, try to prevent any fraud.
Yeah.
One other thing as well is to notify any family, because occasionally when I would leave town, you know, there could be other ways that maybe other family members, and you know, I hate to say that, but family members is a big part of fraud. You know, they like to, could take advantage of things and try to get certain account information, and you know, if they know that you're out of town, that could just kind of open
Right.
the door for some opportunity.
Yeah.
And usually they know your mother's maiden name.
And they know
They
your
do.
mother's maiden
That's
name.
right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. See, I learned the travel, what you're talking about with travel and notifying the bank, I learned that the hard way. About 6 or 7 years ago, flew to California, didn't notify the bank, and tried to use a debit card at a gift shop, a, you know, $10 T-shirt or what, and it kept coming back declined, and I thought, well, that's not, it shouldn't be declined. And so we called the bank, and then that in turn was exactly what it was, that California was one of those states that was blocked based on, you know, what that bank's rules were. So
Yeah, yeah. So that was a good test.
it was a good test, and it worked.
Yep,
And
yep.
Fortunately, we could get a hold of them right there on the spot and get things.
Yeah,
moving forward.
whenever
But
that happens, it's a quick turnaround.
Yep.
The bank just has to, you know, hit a button and code it, you know, to notify the card processing department that you're in California, and everything's good.
Yep.
Yep. So, so we've talked about somewhat. We've talked about computers. I know there's more we'll talk about here in just a little bit. We've talked about some travel. What about by phone? I know, you know, this time of year too, the holiday season. You know, as we talked before, it just seems like this is the time of year that the scammers and fraudsters start picking up on their activity and maybe take advantage of the elderly, the folks that are lonely, whatever. But you know, can you talk a little bit about about any phone scams that you know of, or maybe we talk a little bit more about the online? Just go into a little more detail.
Sure, sure. Yeah, as far as the phone scams, there is a scam out there called the grandparent scam, and basically what that is you know, if there's a grandparent who you know, they receive a phone call, they think it's from a grandchild, and you know, the grandchild is asking, you know, hey grandma, can I have $50 or $100 to go buy mom a Christmas gift or something like that, and grandma falls victim to thinking that it's their grandchild, but it really isn't. And so there are those types of scams that occur. That's one challenge that any bank has, is by doing business remotely, whether it's phone, email, we try to verify who's on the other line, who's on the other end of that call, so that we know that we're giving them access to the proper account information. And just like grandma, she should verify that truly is her grandchild. But unfortunately, some people fall for that, and so again, that the person posing to be the grandchild says, send a money order here, or cashier's check, or wire transfer, whatever it is, and so people fall for that, the phone scams as well.
And verifying with just using the verification process, that could be as simple as just asking a couple personal questions that only the two of them would know.
Absolutely.
That could be good to have that set up in advance even.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, one thing, another thing, we talk about all these scams, and it just keeps going. It seems like there's just a whole list of them. But, we've heard the term ransomware, and maybe you talk about what that is and how that can affect your computer and the harm it can cause in the long run.
Yeah, basically, there are cyber criminals out there, and what they do is they will hack into someone's PC, into their computer, gather personal information, which could be account numbers, social security numbers, balances on accounts, whatever it may be, and they basically lock your information up, and they're holding it as ransom. And so then they reach out to the person who all that information belongs to, and they say that we will release this information for X amount of dollars. And so that's that's their scheme. And there are different ways that you can prevent that. There are various websites and software available that can be found online to download on your PC to help you protect your information.
Okay.
So, but basically, what that is that they're locking up your information and holding you ransom. Yeah.
Okay. And there's really no recourse to try to, you could call the police, but there's not a whole lot that they could do in those cases. I mean, it's pretty tough to track those folks down.
Yes, it definitely can be. Definitely what you need to do is report it to the police. Hopefully they have other people who've reported, and they can link your call as well as the others together, and maybe try to
trace it that
try
way.
to trace it down
Sure.
that way.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Good. I know we're running somewhat short on time. We've got about 4 minutes left. Maybe you could talk about some good rules of thumb just to try to avoid scams and keep your data secure, and any tips on that?
Yeah, well, going back to the name of the show is common sense. Any information that you consider personal, it is personal, it is private, and you do not need to share that information with anybody. A lot of the phone scams, they may provide you a telephone number to call back. Do not use the number that they provide you. Rely on whatever statements you may have, or look up the company online, or those types of things. Because if you just call back the number that they provide you, then you're falling into what they want you to do. So again, just any personal information, any private information, just needs to be confidential. The folks at the bank, we have been trained to keep everything private and confidential between the bank employees and our customers, and that's pretty much the easy way to protect your information.
Right.
It's just not share it.
Right, because
Don't
we
share it.
see, more and more even emails that we get that look so legitimate.
Look real.
They look like they're from our credit card company or our bank.
Yes.
Or
Our
those-
employer.
Or our employer.
Yes.
And they look very, very legitimate. And obviously we know if there's something that needs attention, we can follow our normal pathways through our bank and not click on the links in the email.
Yes.
If we suspect it.
Yes.
Like you said, use common sense, but just don't take the easy way and click on those
Yes.
ready-made links for you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The traps.
Yeah, there are lots of fraudulent websites out there, appearing to look like one website when it is something else. Commonly, if there's a link out there that they say click on, you can hover your mouse over that link, and it may populate the web address that it's going to take you to before you click on it.
Right.
And if you match that up with the website that you're actually looking at and they don't match, then that's definitely a red
trouble.
flag.
Yeah.
And make sure that every letter is in the right sequence and not two of them that are transposed.
Correct. Correct.
Could be
Because
as simple
that's
as that.
really going
yeah.
to
Be
get
as
you.
simple as that.
Right.
Exactly.
Could be,
Right.
sure.
Yes.
So, okay. Ryan, I know we're running short. This half hour's flown by. Is there anything that we haven't talked about or haven't mentioned that you think, or any last tips to our viewers that you'd like to pass along before the holiday season and the busy shopping season?
Just protect your information, protect your debit cards, your credit cards. Try to keep those in a place so that they're wouldn't get stolen or potentially lost. If that happens, immediately reach out to your bank or the credit card companies, notify them that your account information could be missing or has been stolen, and they should be able to fix your problems as quickly as possible.
Okay. And change passwords frequently.
Change passwords frequently. Yes.
And
Yes,
monitor
definitely.
your accounts on a frequent
daily- yep.
basis,
Yes.
on a daily basis
Yes.
if possible.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that's great.
Well, very good.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, thank you
Yeah.
for your time.
Thank you.
We've
A lot of
learned
great
a lot today,
information, yeah.
and hopefully our viewers have learned a lot too. That's going to kind of help prevent some heartache in the future, and that's what we hope to do, is try to educate and prevent heartache, right?
That's right.
So anyway, well, for this month's edition of Common Sense, I'm Brad Bapst,
I'm Ryan Mapes.
and thank you for joining us.